So check this out. I had been praying that God use me. That had been my prayer. God use me. God use me. One night, my son and I went to Walmart. We were walking through Walmart, and I just happened to look down an aisle, and there was this guy standing there at the head of a basket with a little girl sitting in the basket, and he was giving her a chip. And then at the end of that basket was a woman that was looking up on the shelf. It was like a picture just snapped into my mind. I can just remember that. I didn't know why at the moment, but later on I realized why that stuck out to me. My son and I was leaving. We got in the car, we backed out of the parking spot, and we had to go down in front of Walmart to hit the highway, go out the side parking lot. And as we was driving by, that guy standing there smoking a cigarette. It was nighttime, he was by himself, clean cut dude, red hair, about my age, sitting there smoking. And all of a sudden God said, tell him that I love him. And I was like, man, there's no way that I could tell this guy that. This dude standing out in front of Walmart, randomly just pull up and tell him that God said he loved him. At that point, I had never really got out there like that with God. I've never really heard him tell me to do anything as far as that, and that was very specific. And I mean, it was overwhelming. I could hear his voice almost literally. I said, man, there's no way I can do that. I'm having dialogue within myself with God. And then just as clear as I'm talking to you, he said, how do you expect me to use you if you don't do what I ask you to do? It was crazy because I had been asking that he use me. So I said, okay, man, okay. And so I went around the parking lot, and I come back around, and I tell my son to roll the window down. At this time, he's putting a cigarette out on the wall, fixing to go in. And so I pull up, I kind of lean over my son, and I said, hey, man. And the guy turned around and looked at me, and I said, man, God wanted me to tell you that he loves you. And before I even got the words out of my mouth, the guy just started like bawling, standing there in front of Walmart, just weeping. He's like, thank you, man. Thank you, man. Thank you. And I'm just like, you could feel like the presence of God. You could feel the power, something that you don't feel on earth. It was supernatural, and it did something for him, and it did something for me too. And it also did something for my son. But just being obedient, there's no telling what that guy was going through. He could have been going home to commit suicide. Like, I had no idea what he was going through, but God knew exactly where he was at. God knew exactly what he needed to hear, because God loved him and he cares about him. And God is looking for men and women that are not perfect, but that are available and that are willing to do what he asks us to do. And if we get to that point, he's ready to impact people's lives all around you, just like he impacted that guy's life. So just be obedient, be intentional. God didn't call the qualified, but he qualifies who he calls. Be willing and available, and he will use you in mighty, mighty ways.